And we're back, man, and we are live. Uh wow, what a vacation. I know the only one here that hasn't taken a vacation is Walt. But gentlemen, it feels like football is almost here. I mean, what do you guys let's get caught up, man.
Yeah, man, finally back. It's been a good break, about a good month off, but really hadn't been much going on. Many accounts over it, training accounts are open up. Rookies already reported this past week and next week. Like it's just time, man. I know we've been strolling through our Twitter feed, seeing all the highlights. So far now, training camps ain't been open a week, but so far it's like Garrett Wilson. Every time you refresh your Twitter, it's a new highlight from Garrett Wilson or something like that. Aaron Rodgers looking at his pretty good at his new form, his training camp. So we got to remember to take it easy and stuff like that. But preseason starts in what, about 2 weeks. So
Hmm.
preseason in 2 weeks. We got training camp battles going on. Most of the veteran teams report by between now and the middle of the week. Well, between now and the end of next week, this coming week. So hey man, it's a good time and just ready to get back into it, man. It's a lot going on.
I'm thinking about quarterbacks, man. As usual, it's the most important position on the field, man. And as Kendall mentioned, some big names changed some cities. You know, you got Derek Carr over in New Orleans right now in the Bayou. You got big man Aaron Rodgers out there in New York. About to face that heat this season when the Jets have their ups and downs. It's gonna be interesting to see how that stuff works out. Also, man, college football. You got whoever the top quarterbacks are from the moment the NFL draft ends in April to the moment summer leagues, not summer league, but the spring games begin. You start hearing about the top quarterbacks. Caleb Williams, where is he gonna go? Is the Arizona Cardinals? Is it another team? Is it the Raiders? Is it somebody else, a dark horse team who could turn out to be in need of a quarterback 2024? Guys like Drake May and Deion Sanders' son at the University of Colorado, Shadur Sanders. Like there's a lot of guys, Bo Nix, and whether we like it or not, I know a lot of people just want to focus on the NFL season, but the NFL season and the college season go hand in hand, man. And all it takes is for your team to begin the NFL season 0-2 and you're already looking at Caleb Williams. Like, that's how fan bases truly are, though. The moment your team looks like they're going to be completely out of the race, what happens? Fans start looking towards the NFL draft. So it's time, man. It's time. I think people have officially caught the bug, the football bug that is. I think views are going up on most content creators' pages right now over the past couple weeks. Most of us can attest to that because teams have everything's going now. So it's gonna be interesting, very interesting.
Look, we got some of our fam already checking in. Mike Prochet, good to have you guys back. Appreciate the love. Regina Green, what's up, guys? Woo! NFZ, are we Cowboys here? Dwight Thrasher, July is the last month
Yeah,
without football.
Oh man,
I love it. I absolutely love it. Who misses
yeah.
football?
I think the biggest thing for me is, man. I feel like it's been forever for this football thing, man. And are we gonna be let down again this year? Are they gonna do what they're supposed to do? And I'm just talking about all teams. I'm not just talking about mine, but there's a lot of interesting things. I think we've talked about this before, but if you look at the landscape of the NFL, what's crazy about everything is, has everybody kind of leveled off? Has everybody kind of put pieces together where the NFL's coming to an equal
Went
somewhat?
out.
So, but we'll see.
My
yeah. I think there's more haves than have-nots now for sure. The amount of have-nots have reduced drastically over the past couple drafts.
Yeah, my thing is, every year it's a new team that comes into the picture that we didn't think would make the playoffs or would be this good, and it's a team that we thought would start their season back up how they ended up last year and have it. You know what I mean? Like that's the just the uncertainty. But normally I tell everybody this, and I can't stress this enough. You know what your team is and what they ain't within the first month of the season. You don't need two, three. No, you know what your team is within the first month of the season. You know what they are and what they ain't. And lucky for me, being a Patriots fan, I'm gonna get a good feel of my team the first month because we open up at home against Philly, home against Miami, then we go to New York, then we go to Dallas, a game I hope to be at, and then I don't know who our fifth game is. So I ain't got to. I normally had to wait about Thanksgiving to see how my team is. Nah, I'm gonna know early. Are you or are you not ready?
Simple as that, right? Simple as that. Look at Fly Eagles Fly, NFC training camp in Oxnard in 3 days. I mean, you name it. Let's talk about that, right? I mean, because we got how many teams do we got? We have a total of 21 teams where the rookies already have gone and have reported to training camp. And this week we have the actual. This week we actually have well, we already have some teams, right? The Jets, the Browns, the Jets, the Browns, they've already completely veterans and rookies have reported to training camp. Let me see who was the other team. And then anyways, the rest of the teams they're going to be reporting this week, right? So what they said? Don't come all the way to AT&T for the punishment.
Hey, I got a note. I'm writing that down right now.
Oh, here we go, man.
Don't worry, we'll be paying those boys up in Texas a visit too. Not up in Texas, but down in Texas. We'll be at AT&T.
We will see, man.
Let me ask you guys, what do you guys? I guess the biggest question is, obviously training camps. We learn a lot about teams, right? Of course, they got rookies coming in, they got new players. What is the biggest storylines that you guys have going into training camp? Like what? It could be your team, it could be any team, it could be anything that you've seen so far. Positional battle. Go ahead, whoever wants to start it off. I want to hear it.
I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Browns. I want to see what Deshaun Watson is about. He did come in late last year. He had a suspension off the field stuff. He never looked like Deshaun Watson of old last year. Like I said, he came in late, learned to play, and he was just a lot of off the field stuff that was going on. So I want to see how he does in training camp, how he does during the season, preseason, things like that. I want to see how he looks this year, Deshaun Watson. I think the Cleveland Browns, if he can be Deshaun Watson of Houston, and nobody's talking about the Cleveland Browns, and they very quietly had a pretty good offset, pretty good draft and free agency. I think Browns they can be a team to be reckoned with those weapons. Elijah Moore, got Mari Cooper, so I really think they can be something to reckon with. A very fly under the radar in a tough division.
Yeah.
Like you said, Deshaun Watson, he looked a little rusty, man. He just did not look the same. But I mean, you think that he's been able to put everything behind him and be able to move forward and lock in. I mean, that's a good storyline to I think all of us are going to be paying attention to.
Yeah. I'll go up then. I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending champs. It's gonna be interesting to see if they can win. 3 out of 5 now? They got some stories going into training camp. One, I think, is Chris Jones, something that people aren't really talking enough about. Now, ultimately, do I believe the Chiefs are going to pay Chris Jones to get him in the camp and get him there? Of course. We don't even have to look at the depth chart. He's their best defensive player. You can make the argument he may be their second best player or third best player overall on that team. And that defense isn't the same without him. They don't win without him, period. I don't care who they got on the offensive side of the ball. He's their best player on defense, and they do not win without him. So it's going to be interesting to see how long this whole situation draws out, how much he gets. Because for sure he's already seen what Jeffrey Simmons got this offseason, what Quentin Williams got this offseason, what some other guys got. So he's looking at it for what it is. I've been to, 3 Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowls, that is. And, hey, I won. And I've been a serious, viable part in every time that you won it. And it wasn't my fault when you didn't win it. Even when they lost, he still played a solid game against the Buccaneers. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Chiefs handle that situation. And if he appears on the market, which I don't think he will be, because the Chiefs are about winning. I don't think they're stupid, and they know they need to have him back. Also, on the offensive side of the ball, as much as I love Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and I look back at last season, I had the prediction correct. I had the Chiefs and Eagles in the Super Bowl prior to the season. I had the Chiefs winning it. somewhat of it feels like they kind of got away with one. Now, you can make the argument, I've made the argument that if you swap it out and they lose Travis Kelce via trade and they keep Tyreek Hill, they don't win that game against the Eagles. Because Kelce is, I think, is the most viable, most important part of that offense. Second to Mahomes. The tight end just, if you go back in history and you look at some of the most elite quarterbacks in NFL history, all of them are pretty much tied to a great tight end. Now, you can make the argument the tight end made the quarterback or the quarterback made the tight end, but all of them are tied to a Hall of Fame tight end at some point in time. So I just think that the Chiefs haven't done enough on the perimeter. You know, they got away with it last year with Smith-Schuster and Valdez-Scantling and the guys that they had over there. Sky Moore was a rookie. They expect more out of him this season, but that receiving core still hasn't improved too much to me at all. I think there's still going to be a lot of pressure on Kelce and Mahomes and what they can do as far as putting together a running game-wise, but I'm interested to see if it works this season. You know, Mahomes he was Superman last year. And at some point in time, I think they're going to need someone in that receiver room to emerge as a solid guy that he can depend on week in, week out.
Well, I had a thought about going with somebody for this training camp, but I kind of changed my mind a little bit, and that being it's kind of a two-team thing. To me, the Kansas City Chiefs are pretty much owning the AFC. So is there going to be a team to overthrow them? Is it going to be the Bills or Cincinnati? So that's what I'm looking at, man. Is Cincinnati done enough this offseason and into training camp to try to take over the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know, man. We got to see, right? And the other thing is Buffalo. So Buffalo took Kincaid in the first round. Is that going to put them over the hump? Is that the player they need? Just like Walt said, you know, every elite quarterback has a Hall of Fame tight end. Is that what they're trying to, you know, kind of copycat the Kansas City Chiefs with the player they got in Diggs on the outside, and now they got their, hopefully, obviously we can't tell, but that tight end you need to make it to the Super Bowl. So is that their Kelce? Is Kincaid that guy? So we'll have to see, man. I think, to me, that's going to be very interesting, is the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. Have they done enough, or do they have enough personnel to overthrow the Chiefs, man? It's going to be very interesting this training camp. So we'll have to see.
I mean, both. I mean, I'm right there with Harv, and I'm right there with you, Walt. What does Regina says? It's looking good for us, right? And when she says, I believe she's referring to the Cowboys. Giants are without Saquon. The Jets had a fight in camp already. Laugh out loud. Well, I don't know. Maybe she's talking about just in general. Alex Lopez, which NFL team is going to be a dark horse? Ooh, that's a good one. I think that's something that we should run with, guys. Walt, who's your dark horse team?
Wow, that's very spur of the moment, man. I don't want to throw something out there and wind up sounding stupid like three or 4 months later. But I'm gonna say the Seattle Seahawks, man. I think Seattle's primed and ready this year to overtake San Francisco and be a solid team and threaten the NFC this year. But it's going to come down to Geno Smith, I believe. I think the Seahawks are in a similar situation to the Detroit Lions with their quarterback situation. They've spent the last 3 drafts pretty much insulating a veteran quarterback with a lot of talent offensively as well as defensively around him. Now it's time for that veteran quarterback to prove he can be the missing piece. So I think Seattle can do it this year. I think this is the year where Arizona pretty much going to go in the tank. We don't know what the Rams are going to be, honestly. And then San Francisco, they've got a quarterback carousel going on right now. And if you're not consistently getting better every offseason, what are you doing? Like, I can't honestly say that Frisco, when I look at their roster, they've gotten better personnel-wise every year. We know the head coach is there. We know his system is gold. We know that he's been able to prove that he can get to the Super Bowl with pretty much any stiff at quarterback almost to that matter, because it's very unorthodox. But I just feel at some point in time that method of winning is going to run out if you don't have the right quarterback, the legit quarterback under center. So I'm gonna go ahead and run with that.
I'm gonna go with the New Orleans Saints. I'm gonna go with the Saints. I like the Derek Carr signing. It seemed like that was all they were missing. They still got Jameis Winston there, but Carr is the near future for them for at least the next 2 or 3 years. They got hella weapons there, good defense, good coaching. I'm gonna go with the Saints. If there's the excuse basket is running low for Derek Carr, so there's no more excuses about he don't have a defense or nothing like that. The excuse basket running low. So I'm gonna go with Derek Carr to the Saints. That was the best move I like for the offseason. I think in that division, Panthers are young. I think Bryce Young will do good things. They might be in a running later on in the year, but I still think they're a year away. Falcons had another good offseason. Tampa Bay, they're not going to be too relevant without Brady, I don't believe. I think we seen some clips a couple months ago of Baker Mayfield overthrowing receivers in minicamp or something like that. So if that has any bearing on this season, I mean, I don't think we'd be mentioning much about Tampa. But I think the Saints, I think they're the most ready team in that division with the least amount of questions. I'm going with the Saints.
What about the Commanders?
Are they a dark horse? I mean, they were right there in the playoff run last year.
Yeah, but nobody's talking about them. I mean, I like Sam Howell. I like the amount of weapons he has around him. I like the additions they made on defense in some areas. They got that dark cloud finally from over that organization. We're hearing about Magic Johnson and them trying to change the name again within another year.
That'd be
It feels like a new day for Washington. And I think Sam Howell is a guy who got a bad rap his final year at North Carolina, considering everything that he lost. When you look at him when he was at full power, he was bombs away within that offense. So I'm going to go with Washington too. I think they're a team that's a dark horse team that could possibly cause your Cowboys some issues this year, Jerry. And Javi, you're here too. So you too, Javi.
The Commanders will be the Commanders, man. For me, I think my dark horse, and Walt's probably not gonna like this, but it's gonna be the Chicago Bears, man.
Ooh.
I think they've done a lot, especially on the draft. They got our favorite guy, which I wanted him so bad, but Darnell Wright. I think he's gonna be a great addition to the team, protecting Fields. But they also got Edmonds too, and they got some pieces in the defensive tackle, the rookies that they got, and I think they got Billings. Yeah, they got 2 of them, and they still have signed Andrew Billings, and they signed a lot of good players, T.J. Edwards. So to me, I think they're shoring up that defensive line, offensive line, and then the box portion of that team. So I don't know, man. When you have a player like Fields, man, I feel like sometimes you're never out of the game. So, and then obviously the receivers that they got now, and then they got Foreman also as a running back. So they also drafted Rashawn from Texas. Man, those offseason moves is not like, we're going to be an okay team. I think they put a good team together. And then obviously you add I keep saying Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers is not in that division anymore. So who's the team to take it, man? And I think they have a good shot of doing that with the pieces they put in. So I think Chicago's my dark horse.
Give me the Colts, man. I think Anthony Richardson is going to be able to find the right groove in that Jalen Hurts mold, especially with his head coach and the offense, what they want to run. And we already know that defense is pretty solid, man. So give me the Colts, man. The Colts are going to give the Jags a run for their money. We got some people, Golf Shirt Dude on TikTok. Hey, what's up, Rev? Rev saying what's up to us. Golf Shirt Dude says Steelers going to surprise people this year. And then William Markowitz says Alliance in the NFC Championship game. Wow, that's really bold. That's very.
Oh wow,
that is very bold.
The NFC Championship.
Yeah, that's what we put on there.
Okay.
But I will say this also, just to kind of piggyback off what you said about the Bears. I mean, Justin Fields did say that he wants to pass for 4,000 yards. I don't know if you guys saw that statement by him. And if Z is laughing, is Barkley going to sit out the season?
Probably.
No.
Only game Cowboy fans have marked on their schedule is San Fran. All the others are bonuses. Is this a true statement, or?
It's true.
It's a true statement. Yes, that is marked on the calendar. Regina's with it too, man. She loves it. Dwight Thresh says it's the Dolphins. If Tua can stay healthy, they can make a Super Bowl run. if they lose Tua.
Now, I kind of agree with that, just for the simple fact that they played with the rookie and they almost beat the Buffalo Bills in that playoff game. They almost beat them, man.
If they play that game a bunch of times, I think Buffalo blow them out. Sometimes teams just sleep on. Like I don't think that was. Now if Tua play that game, I think Miami wins. Miami wins that game. They make just enough plays, but I don't know, man. Tua just had to stay healthy.
At the end of the day, Kendall, if you get hot, man, in the playoffs, it don't matter.
True.
It don't matter.
True, but it's all on Tua right now. Alex says no one talks about the kickers. Laugh out loud. Harrison Butker was solid for Kansas City. David. NFZ says don't let their lack of tight ends be an excuse. Mike Prochet says don't count out the Ravens. Damn, that's exactly what Walter was talking about.
Yep, Walt was talking about that.
Yeah, pregame lobby.
I mean, it seems like at least offensively they'll be able to put it together. Now defensively, made some nice additions last year. They got some good work out of the safety, Hamilton out of Notre Dame. Still worried about them defensively, but offensively they could probably catch fire. Honestly, that's why I brought them up.
So
Lions.
Well, people look. NFC says Seattle. Regina says the Lions. So these are the dark horses. Seattle's in a position for a winning season at most. NFC also says dark horse for AFC because no one coming out of the NFC besides Cowboys or San Fran. My dark horse is Denver. This is Joseph.
That's what I was going to say.
This is Joseph Batten.
If Russell gets back on track and that defense is still as good as it was a year ago, yeah, that's possible. But that offensive line was shit. So the offensive line, can't be shit.
They addressed the offensive line for ACL.
They really did.
They did.
Let me just finish what he said. My dark horse is Denver. I feel like they have a solid roster, but coaching was historically bad. Wilson can't have really fallen off that much, or maybe he has. I will say this. I mean, we've seen some highlights of Wilson, and Wilson looks like he's throwing some sharp passes. I mean, he's really getting the ball down with some zip and some zing and some accuracy, which,
feel good. Hey, Jerry, what I tell you tonight, it's feel good, look good season. Everybody feels good, look good.
Yeah, you did say that. Dallas or San Fran, the rest of the NFC can just hang it up now. Yeah, how about the basement team in the East? Jeez. Fields is like Hurts laughing out loud. I mean, that's exactly what we've seen with him coming out, is that's what he wants. The most of the Jets offense are round 1 draft picks.
Yeah, well, their offensive line was shit too. So they can't be shit either, especially not with that old quarterback they got back there.
What went wrong? Well, with the Jets, because they invested some high picks on offensive line.
Injuries. I mean, who was the kid? Becton. Mekhi Becton was the guy they really expected to be a superstar in this league. He looked nice whenever he's played, but he hasn't played that much. Now, they said I think he's lost a ton of weight, and he's supposed to be in the best shape of his life. But around this time of year, like Kendall said, everybody's in the best shape of their life.
Yeah, it's feel good, good season. That's what it is.
But yeah, they've had some young guys they drafted that just hasn't worked out.
Elijah Vera Tucker, I think he got hurt last year. He missed the whole season. The tackle or guard, I think once they tackle.
Yeah. So, guard. He was the guard. But I think they had an opportunity to draft Creed Humphrey a couple years ago, and they didn't. So I think some of it came down to them making the wrong decisions too. But the Jets just been snake bitten on that offensive line, man.
But the Jets did draft Joe Tippmann from Wisconsin, the center.
I don't know what that.
I'm just saying he's pretty good. You don't think he's good, Walt?
He's all right.
Does it move the needle?
Oh, here we go.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. I don't think. Listen, as good as we all knew Creed Humphrey was, at least me and Jerry knew. I don't think any of us expected Creed to be like an all-pro player. At least not immediately.
I like Creed. You didn't like Creed. I remember.
I did like Creed.
Well, you said you just.
I thought Creed could possibly play guard if you needed him to.
I believe we just didn't see eye to eye on him being like a day one starter, so to say. We didn't expect.
Now look at him, Super Bowl champ, Jerry.
I mean, Super Bowl champ. That's enough. That's exactly everybody's goal. Somebody says, I have a question. Is Zeke Elliott coming back? I guess he's asking, is he going to come back to Dallas Cowboys? Cowboys Super Bowl. That's by Bruce Holloway Choppa on TikTok. and Cowboy Dave. What's up, guys? Hey, just good to be back. We're live right now on the East West Football. So those of you on TikTok, I know it's the Cowboys cast, but hey, follow us on East West Football. Of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do lives, we do kickoffs. We're gonna do a little Monday football predictions, little Tuesday recap. We're gonna keep, and then of course Thursday kickoffs. And we want to see about some fantasy football, man. We're going to see if we can do all of that this season. And we're going to keep score, right? I think every prediction that we make as far as the teams and who's going to win that game, we're going to keep track. I think we're going to have fun this season. I'm really looking forward to the 2023 NFL season. Of course, Walt, please tell everybody where you're at, where they can find you. What is your content that you cover on YouTube?
YouTube, Detroit Lions Avenue, all your Detroit Lions content that you need, anything that you need, we're right there. And that handle is at the Av Lions. That's at the Av, AVE Lions.
Hey, help him, man. He's almost at 500 on YouTube page. Help him get there. Kendall, what is yours, man? Throw your plug in there, man. We got 60,000 people watching on TikTok.
Yes, sir. Ken's Pats Talk. Go ahead and subscribe. It's right in parentheses. Look me up. You want some Patriots content and NFL content? I'll talk about both. I'll be talking about NFL news going on too. But I will. Hey, about to get some stuff pumped right back up. Start next week. Also, I got a big guest joining my show next week. So make sure y'all check it out.
And Harv, where can they find you?
You already know the Cowboys Cast, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the Cowboys Cast, Facebook, everywhere, man.
Twitter, Threads, the whole night.
Yep, everything.
The whole 9 yards. But yeah, I mean, look, getting back to it, these are the storylines that we're looking for going into the actual training camps. It's very excited to kind of see exactly like what we're saying, right? What did you say, Kendall? It's nice to see Garrett Wilson making them some nice flashy plays, that catch they get with Aaron Rodgers in the back of the end zone. Let me ask you, are you guys believing the hype in Garrett Wilson? Does he have that upside to be the next Justin Jefferson? Whoa, take it away.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Garrett's legit. Legit. He's 6'1", 190. He plays like he's 6'4", 220.
Let's see how he do when Big Gonzo get on that island. He come to Gonzo Island.
Gonzo Island.
When he come to Gonzo Island, we gonna see. I want that same energy. This ain't no more practice.
Kendall, this ain't the Muppets, man.
Hey, CD gonna be on Gonzo Island too, week 5.
Here we go, man. Here we go.
Hey, and I love
Gonzo nice though, man. Gonzo nice.
He is nice. So just so you guys know, this is what you get on the East West. So, you know,
good everything. I noticed too, good corners in that system tend to get picks. So if Gonzo winds up getting 5, 6, 7 picks, you could be talking about defensive rookie of the year.
I just cannot believe, right, that it's not your training camp. Has it started for the Patriots?
Rookies reported Friday. First practice is Wednesday.
And they already gave him the name of Gonzo Island. He hasn't played a day.
Yeah. Well, I gave him that name. So I gave him that.
Listen, Kendall, I'll tell you something, man. If he has 5 interceptions, I don't know, man. But I've done a lot of research, and if you ain't a ball hawk in college, man, it doesn't translate to NFL. Look it up.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
Like I tell people, if I don't hear his name all year, that's a good thing, because that means he's not getting targeted. Nobody's bothering him over here. I only want to hear his name, number one. Number two, you know, everybody get hyped of training camp performances. We ain't got no damn wide receivers. So I know he's going to lock them up. I want to see week 1. You got AJ. You got week 1, you got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. I'm sure the Cowboys fan, y'all wouldn't mind them locking them up. Week 2, you got Garrett. Who you got week 2? You got Tyreek Hill in them. So I want to see. I ain't gonna be able to know much about him until the season. He gonna lock Juju and Devontae Parker.
Oh, here we go, man. Kendall, man.
Let me see. We got some people chiming in. Jay LaPro says, "Fly Eagles, fly! Come on over to the East West Football. Subscribe to our YouTube, and we'll talk about the Eagles, man. We're gonna be talking about the Eagles I'll tell you this much right now. If you guys have been following the East West for the last 3 years, you would know that Walt is Nostradamus almost. I believe he was week 1, and we all gave a prediction of who will we see in the Super Bowl, and I believe it was Walter who said, "Even the Eagles and the Chiefs," and everybody was like, "What? The Eagles?" And
Because you hated the Eagles.
I mean, yes.
You allowed your hate to blind your sense.
But you
Don't
gave,
let it happen again, Jerry.
you gave that prediction week 1.
You won't pick the Eagles to make the Super Bowl, though.
No, I mean
You'll never do that. You'll never do that.
No, I'm sorry, I won't. I mean, I won't. And you know, I would like to say I'm one of the best content creators out there in the world right now. And being Harvard talking with Kendo, and he says, "Hey, what happens if an NFL team was to give you a contract or hire you? Would you go play? Would you go and work for that team?" And if the Eagles gave me a phone call, I'm sorry, I'm gonna hang it up. That's how much I don't like the Eagles. I don't like the Commodes or the Commanders, and I damn sure don't like the Giants. So
I think it's kind of different when you start talking about a team that's a rival in your own division. Maybe you'll feel different if the Broncos came calling.
I don't know. I mean, maybe the Houston Texans. How about that? Because I'm a Texas boy. Let me see. How do you feel about the Cowboy? How do you feel about the Cowboys wide receiver core? That's by God is first on TikTok. It's a good question. I want all of you guys to answer that.
No issues.
No issues. All right.
No issues. I'll just leave it at that.
Walt.
Here we go. Here we go, man. Go ahead, Walt.
It's okay. I mean, what y'all want me to say, man? It's okay. It's okay. I like CD Lamb. I think you guys got some pieces that, barring health issues, guys should be pretty decent, you know. But will those guys be able to be productive if the offense, not necessarily the offensive line, but what about the running game? What about Dak? What about play calling? Like, I think there's a lot that goes into it. I think the receiving core you guys have is good enough to move forward with, but if the running game isn't clicking this year, if the offensive line has any issues, I think that could affect what's going on.
I
Kendall,
agree.
You are the wide receiver guy here on this group.
I love me some CD Lamb. Like, I'm a big Dez Bryant fan, but I do like CD. I like what y'all got there with CD. Definitely top 10 receiver. Y'all have talent. And the question was what again though?
How do you feel about the Cowboys wide receiver core?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think with CD presumably you're number one. I think the key is if Michael Gallup can stay healthy and get back to where he was a couple of years ago, if he can do that, then you got Brandon Cooks. He's more likely going to play the slot. He's on the team's third corner. And don't sleep on my boy out of was it SMU? No, Alabama, Jalen Tolbert. He's been putting in the work. It is feel good, look good season, but I do think he can be a good receiver as the fourth option. And I'm gonna butcher his name, Foco or whatever.
Foco. You got it right.
Yeah, him. Yeah, I like what I see in him. Y'all got some good depth there, but I think the key is Michael Gallup.
I agree with Kendall, man. I think at the end of the day, I think CD had 6 or 7 drops last year. That's not good.
Yeah,
if he wants to be an elite player in the NFL, he's got to stop that. He's got to have at least 1 or 2. That's fine, but 6 or 7, that's too many. I think if he wants to get into that next level, the drops have to come down immensely. And Kendall's right. I think Gallup. I hope Gallup is healthy, man, because he was not when he came back last year. So, but I think Brandon Cooks is going to open up a lot of things for both of them. So we'll see, man. But I'm fine with the actual receiving core. So
I actually like the.
What is this for Lamb? Year 4?
Year 4. Yeah, him and
how
Trey.
do you guys feel about him in comparison to Dez Bryant, like within their first 4 years?
So I'll answer that. I think for me, in my opinion, I think CD's a better player in that position for the simple fact that there are routes that Dez Bryant couldn't run. And I think when you look at receivers' longevity, if you can't run the whole route tree, you're not going to be wanted. And if you're a staple to 2 or 3 routes, you ain't going to be in the league very long because that's all you got to give. To me, I think I love Dez Bryant to death. Don't get me wrong. I love him. But I think Dez Bryant needed a player like Tony Romo. Because let's be honest, you throw Dez that ball, 50-50, Dez is coming down with it every single time.
He had a certain edge to him.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You run that bang route, that slant route, that's Dez all day. He's a dog. Like he's gonna up the middle where people don't want to catch the ball, that's Dez. But running these dynamic routes, that wasn't Dez. So I think that's what kind of caught up to him. I think CD's that guy. I think he's both. I think he can run all the routes. I think he's a dog.
I do
think
want
he's
to
got
see
that
him
mentality.
more. I want to see him more on that outside, though. I do want to see him more on the outside. He can play outside. I'm not saying he can't, but I do want to see him.
I think that's amateur of you to say it, Kendall. I hate to say it.
I'm saying I said
he
he can
played
play
76% outside last season.
I understand that, but I want to see him play even more on the outside and whatnot.
76%. You know, Justin.
Okay,
Jefferson
but I did say that he can, but I didn't say he can't. But I said
Justin Jefferson played 64% on the slot last season.
Didn't know that, but I want to see him play more on the outside. I know he can. I didn't say he can't. So I said I want to see him more on the outside. I think most time I see him in the slot.
Yeah.
So let's get a little caught up here on YouTube, right? And I got really behind on the YouTube here.
Man, 40 comments, Jerry.
Oh, this is where I left off. Fields is like Hurts. The most of the Jets often. Oh no, that's the one I left off. That'll be something to talk to Keith Carter about. If most of those guys are round one draft picks, then I'm looking at coaching. If there's a problem, he's talking about the Jets here. Regina Green's laughing. Nobody has a Micah. That is for sure. Micah is a unicorn. Trayvon Diggs outside the top 10 in quarterback ratings for Madden. Did Jerry talk to Madden folks so he can get a better deal? That Trayvon Diggs is obviously going through a little contract situation. Yards allowed affect the rating because they use the pure numbers. Pigeons are are relevant enough for hate for being a big brother. Pigeons would never be our rivals. He's talking about the Eagles here. They still sitting at the kids. Yeah. they still sitting at the kids table. He's talking about the Eagles. Only thing my Cowboys
history say
offensive line and health depth. I think this is a legit thing for the Cowboys. Cowboys receiving core is only better than the Giants. That's it. Is he saying better or beatier?
Better. I think
he's only appreciating better. Only better than the Giants.
Pollard, Jones, and Davis in rotation is fine for my running back room.
Felix Jones.
Joseph Batten for my Lamb is the more complete receiver, but Dez was a scary weapon first 4 years. And he was doing the punt return too. Remember that?
Yeah, he was. Yep. He was.
Wide receiver room stacked. Oh, damn. So NFZ is saying that the Cowboys have a very stacked. Lamb was playing by himself last year, and Dak had broken thumb surgery, so we expected a little fall off. And I'll tell you this: the one thing I like the question that you asked, and can you repeat the question, Walt, about compare CeeDee Lamb to Dez, right?
Yeah, just asking in general how he felt about the comparison between those two. Because I mean, I think I agree. I think Lamb is more polished. He's more nuanced when it comes to the running routes or whatnot. Dez was just a big time playmaker. He was a game changer.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
and he would come down. He would come down with that ball.
Yeah, he would come down with that ball. I don't care.
Dez had a stretch where probably 3 or 4 years of dominance.
He was. I think he had like 78 touchdowns during that span, man.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
He had like a 4-year run. He was up there with AJ Green, Julio Jones for like the best wide receiver. Yep. But then the injuries, but he wasn't consistent though. He did have a short stint, about 3-4 years. That's about it.
He was an athlete, and athletes have a tendency to throw their bodies around. Like that's what happened with Calvin Johnson. Calvin was always out there throwing his body around. Julio throwing his body around. Dez jumping over 3 or 4 people and landing on his back and landing on his side. They don't really last too long, but yeah, Dez was a monster, man.
He was, man.
we got a lot of comments on TikTok. David Black, is it Blackley 8 says it's good to see NFL fans, right? And then he says, "Let's go Rams." Let me ask you something about the Rams. What is going on, Walt, with your former quarterback there, Matt Stafford, and the Rams? Are they? Is there trouble there in Los Angeles with the Rams and Stafford?
Don't know. I mean, I'm hearing the same thing I guess everybody else is hearing, but if you're looking at it from the Rams' perspective, I think you kind of knew this was coming. You know, guys have to pass medicals before trades go through, and I think the Rams swallowed what was coming with it. Now, the thing is this, I don't think they figured they had an opportunity to win right away. I'm not sure if they believed they were going to win that quick. Because with them winning that quick, that pretty much raised the rebuild very, very quickly. So now you're looking at year 2, heading into year 2 at Stafford. Okay, maybe he can play, maybe he can't. Once they found out he was a little too damaged to play, they figured why keep trotting him out there and risk ruining him and his trade value for 2023, which is what they tried to do this offseason. They tried to move him. But, I mean, the Rams are dealing with the backside of it, man. I mean, they won. They won the Super Bowl, so in theory, at the end of the day, they won the trade. They did exactly what they wanted to do. They knew they wanted to win immediately, and they won immediately. So now they're dealing with the backhand of it. But they had a lot of picks. I think they had a lot of picks this past draft. They got some picks moving forward. So I'm not sure if McVay is going to be the guy that spearheads that next rebuild for them. But, hey, they got the ability to trade up. Potentially for Caleb Williams, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? The Rams could be picking somewhere around that range, man. And you know how they are, F them picks. I don't know if you would necessarily go F them picks in a rebuild, though.
I bet you they're gonna cherish those picks going forward.
Yeah.
Bruce Holloway Choppa says Jaguars, Cowboys, Super Bowl, and Dallas wins 35-24. Wow, we're not even ready here.
We're not Trevor boy.
Yeah, he says the Titans are overrated. Renee Lovato says they ain't going nowhere. Justin Fonda, what's up, fellas? What's up, Justin?
What's up?
Bruce Holloway Choppa says Stephen A. Smith is going to make himself look silly. Cowboy Dave says Kellen Moore was the problem. Pollard will lead the league in TDs and yards with McCarthy calling plays. Govo says, you're ready for some breaking news? It's been a couple of weeks, right? Because we took a little vacation here.
Yeah.
He says, breaking news. Cowboys fans, about this is our year for the 34th consecutive preseason. I don't know if that's breaking news. I just think that's just Cowboys just in general. Anything else on there? Says Dalvin Cook and Julio Jones should sign with Dallas.
Oh.
Damn.
No.
Wow.
Oh, boy, man.
I mean, the one thing that we forgot to cover was that DeAndre Hopkins, right, finally signed with the Tennessee Titans. Does that make them a contender, gentlemen?
No. Kendall thinks differently, but I say no.
I don't think they're. I didn't say a contender as an AFC contender, but I did say in that division, they're going to be something to reckon with. I can assure you that.
Somebody's saying Dalvin Cook is going to go to jail. Why? Anybody know something about that? I don't know what's going on with that. Let me see. Alex Lopez says, what do you think about the Netflix show Quarterbacks?
That's pretty good, man. I watched the whole thing, and it puts a lot of perspective in all the publicity that Kirk Cousins gets, man. I feel bad for him, to be honest, man. That dude, I didn't realize at the time, but he was the most hit quarterback in the NFL. That's crazy.
It really is. So,
him playing through the pain and all, I have a lot of more respect for him. I've had respect for players, but that just tells me, like, man, that I couldn't imagine him going through that and still trying to play at a high level. But to me, I did learn about Kirk Cousins is he overthinks a lot of things. He's a very overthinker. He has to write a lot of stuff. And my brother said something about that. This is just me saying it, so it's not like I don't hate Kirk Cousins. But if you're that type of player, maybe you don't have the it factor.
Ooh.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. Sometimes you can be too smart for your own good.
Yeah.
Like if you historically look at some of these quarterbacks that had the highest Wonderlic scores, guys like Alex Smith. And Alex Smith was a good player. He was a good player. But I think sometimes we overthink the smarts that needs to go into playing quarterback. You have to have a little bit of that ability to throw caution to the wind. The greats all have that. And I think you have it. They have it whether or not they have superior physical talent or not. I think Burrow doesn't have superior physical talent, but he has those intangibles. He has that it. He has the ability to have that ice water in his veins to make certain plays. And I think that's a question that you have about a lot of quarterbacks around the league. That's what separates good guys from elite guys, I believe.
I mean, a quarterback is the most important position in the entire NFL. We already come to realize that. Dez was a contested catch receiver. Whoever just called the Super Bowl and score prediction, don't do that. Black Mamba!
Black Mamba, she's back.
Fellas, I want to jump on real quick. I'm really excited about the season, especially the new faces around the league. Yes. I think we're all on board. I think we're just kind of anxious. We're just happy to get some football back, man. I mean, this month, it just everybody just takes it off. The entire NFL, everything just kind of dies out, except for the hate on the Dallas Cowboys. That's definitely sure. That's definitely not breaking news at this point. It's standard operating procedure. That's to you, Vol. But just so you guys know, Vol, he comes and he trolls Cowboys, content creators and whatnot. But he says that we're a good sport. We appreciate.
We got love for him, man.
Yeah, we do.
Oh yeah.
Black Mamba, what's up with Beasley going to the Giants? There goes his rap career. I mean,
he in the Mecca of rap now. He should be okay. He should be okay now.
Stop, man.
JT5508 says, gotta stop the Mahomes dynasty. I think that is a real dynasty. Yeah. I don't know about you, Walt.
Hey, I want to ask you guys that because to piggyback off what I brought up earlier.
You did bring it up earlier.
If Chris Jones does happen to become available, if things go completely left, what do you think he would garner on the market? Because he's 29. He's still very productive, very dominant. You're talking about a guy who's 6'6", 315, and can completely change your front seven. I mean, I'm pretty sure a guy like Jerry Jones would be intrigued and would be interested if a guy like Chris Jones became available. But I'm thinking you don't see too many defensive players on the trade market go for first-round picks. It doesn't happen that often, especially defensive tackles. Is he? I think he's a first-round pick. I think if you wanted to trade for Chris Jones, you're giving Kansas City is going to start with at least one first.
My thing is, so I'm going to go back to the whole Chicago Bears. Do they have enough pieces already there now to make a move for that number one pick for Chris Jones?
I don't think so. I don't think they're put together enough yet for a guy who's 29. Now, if you want to say Detroit, I think Detroit has made enough moves in the secondary. You got a guy like Aiden Hutchinson. You got James Houston. You got a ton of other guys, rotational guys along that defensive line. But I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know because I don't think he's going to become available because if you look at that defensive tackle room for the Chiefs, they don't have much after him.
I think a lot also has to do with which team is the piece that they're missing, and that's that piece. I don't think it's. You're right. I think it has to do with the team that they believe that one piece will put them over the hump.
I think it would be silly for the Bears to do it. Now, if the Bears wanted Quentin Williams, who's 5 years younger, that would be a little different. But a team like them that's not ready to compete right now, no, I wouldn't see it. I think Dallas.
You don't think they're ready?
Nah. I think the Bears are where we were last year.
I can agree with that. You're right. Yeah, I can agree with that.
So Rev Kramer says that he is the greatest content creator. And he says, need more poncho hats for sale. Lions will play us in the NFC Championship. Jones is an emotional player. Great. Goff is ready. You are sleeping on the Lions. Marmar! We got a little shout out there. And let me see. So I don't know what Dwight's trying to get here, but he says, question, would you trade every player on the Cowboys team right now for a player on a Jacksonville team? And then NFC didn't really like that, right? He says, what kind of question is that? Go stand in the corner, right? That's what he says. You would make the trade right now. And Joseph Batten says, Blaine Gabbert had a very high Wonderlic score, just so that Remember, you were talking about that a moment ago, Walt. NFC is not having it. Dynasty is 3 consecutive years. I mean, technically, it what is it?
Mm,
It's 3 appearances in the last 4 seasons.
yes, it's not consecutive. It's just
They just missed out 1 season,
yeah.
Yeah, the year the Bengals went.
the year the Bengals went.
Yeah.
What do you say, Jerry's? He's not paying for that.
He's not paying for Chris Jones.
No, he ain't paying, man. That's too much.
Well, look, you're gonna pay what? I think you'll be paying Chris Jones 19 mil this year.
Look, man, you got
If
you
you
got
did take
Diggs,
over.
we got Diggs, we got Micah, we got CD. We still got to pay Biotish and Dak's contracts coming up. Like who? And we got Pollard on a. It ain't gonna happen, man.
I'm just asking, man. I'm just asking.
We're getting some love.
I mean,
TikTok.
don't get me wrong. Jerry's got the money. It's a salary cap
Say,
problem.
Jerry got the pockets. I understand. We all know Jerry Jones got the pockets.
What did it say here? Joshua says Jerry and Hav, right? That's the shout out they gave us. Every year 4 or less win team makes the playoffs. The next year, who you got? Ooh, that's a good question.
Ooh,
That's a good question. I mean, who's going to be this year's Buccaneers? I guess he's asking. That was
You
my
know they
rep.
had time. They had Brady. Oh boy.
Had it be the Buccaneers with Baker?
I'm gonna bring up a team. I'm gonna bring up a team that a lot of people aren't mentioning at all for a variety of reasons. I think the Houston Texans. If you look at bringing DeMeco Ryans in, that winning culture he came from in San Francisco, also playing at the University of Alabama, bringing in Will Anderson, pairing Will Anderson. Finally, they needed an impact player within that front seven badly on that defense. Bringing in Will Anderson changes a lot in there. Derek Stingley Jr., Petrie on the back end. Those guys were all rookie defensive team guys. I think, and then Stroud. We're going to find out whether it was really Davis Mills or if it was the coaching staff or it was the scheme or whatever. If Stroud steps right in and takes over where Mills left off and he's turning those guys into playmakers, and you add Damian Pierce, and you add some of the other guys that they have, you're talking about Stroud and Houston competing against Anthony Richardson, the Indianapolis Colts. What? Ryan Tannehill, Will Levis. We're going to guess one of those guys. At some point in time, either Malik Willis or Will Levis will take some snaps for the Tennessee Titans at this season. So those are the main competitions right there. And then, of course, Jacksonville. We expect – it sounds kind of strange to say Jacksonville is the king of the hill in the AFC South, but they are. And, you know, now they've got to – Trevor has to take that next step in year 3. He played terrible his rookie year. He, tripled his production in year 2. So now the expectations are even higher because you won a playoff game. And he held his own against Kansas City, too. I didn't expect him to beat the Chiefs, but he held his own at least. So expectations are very high for Trevor in Jacksonville. I'm just saying, Houston, the quarterback can make the difference. That's all I'm saying. And you're talking about bringing in the defensive-minded head coach from a winning organization in DeMeco Ryans, Stroud. A lot of those receivers are healthy this year. They made some adjustments on the offensive line, brought in some other guys. Some guys they took last year are coming back. They're going to be more productive, better prepared. So I think Houston is also a team that could go from picking number 2 overall to possibly being a 7-8 win team.
for me, I mean that's cool and everything, but they got the 7th hardest schedule in the NFL. For me, it has to be the Broncos, man. They have the 23rd hardest schedule in the NFL, so I think the Broncos will make the playoffs.
So, Rev, say who was that 4-13 team from last year that made it to the playoffs? I just kind of said who's going to be this. I rephrased the question to who's going to be this year's Buccaneers. I did see somebody put the Falcons on there,
but that AFC South is so wishy-washy because all of them can beat each other,
but
all of them do beat each other.
But Atlanta had 7 wins, though.
Somebody said the Texans can't get out of the Cowboys' shadow too. These are not my comments; these are just comments floating around.
What about Carolina? I mean, they got how many games did Carolina win a year ago?
Is Noah Brown a solid wide receiver 3? I just want to know.
No.
Thank you. All right.
I should be asking you that. You guys had him there for what, 15 years? I swear it feel like Noah Brown, man, was there for like.
He was supposed to be our tight end, and then
Carolina won 7 games. So
Catu Reyes, PPC. Yeah, you know me from the 956. That is our area code here. Rev Kramer says 16. Atlanta is taking the NFC South. Wow.
That's a team that, hey.
That's Mario.
If they're not going to do anything else, they're going to run the damn football. You're looking at Bijan,
the Saints, man.
Cordero Patterson. I don't know.
Nah.
Vaughn Kaiser, all honesty, real question, not starting anything, but do you guys really think you can top Philly? Now, this is the East-West football, right? Not the
Cowboys cast.
This is not the Cowboys cast. We're just using the Cowboys cast to go live on TikTok so you guys can come on over and help East-West football get to 1,000 subscribers. It's an easy thing. If you look just below Walter's left shoulder, there's a subscribe button. You hit the subscribe button, and then if you turn on the notifications, lets you know when we go live. Like I said, we'll be doing 30 minutes before kickoffs. We're going to be doing the whole shabam. We're going to be keeping a score, and we'd love to see that. But I will say this. I believe the NFC East teams, all of them, they have a very tough schedule. That's all I'm going to say for right now. So, because we haven't even started the season yet. So it's kind of hard to go and say, oh, the Cowboys are going to win. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of turnover with the Eagles. Yeah, they still got Jalen Hurts and they got Devontae, and they still got a relatively good offense, right? But the thing is, it's a new offensive coordinator. Is his prepping and is his game management skills the same as the previous OC that left? And the same thing goes with the defense. The defense is a bunch of new, younger players and a new defensive coordinator. Can they keep up that same momentum? So it's going to be tough for the Eagles. It's not impossible, but we will see as this year rolls on.
Who's the number 2 in Philly?
There's a reason we don't know. What do you mean number 2?
Mariota,
yeah.
What from Denver last year says that they are going to the playoffs this year, though?
Sean Payton.
I mean,
a very dependable, solid defense as well.
That defense is pretty nice. Falcons got no quarterback, so I guess he's responding to whoever. I didn't get the name who had said Falcons were going to be that team that was going to sneak in. So no Cowboy talk. I mean, we could talk Cowboys. I mean, I'll just let you know, Walt's not a Cowboy fan, and Walt will give you the harsh reality of what the situation is with the Cowboys. Trevor flashed a lot last year. I think he needs up a top 3 to 5 quarterback in the AFC. Plus, Jackson were a dumpster fire under Meyer. Not to mention, nobody makes a big deal about Trevor Lawrence. How many interceptions did he throw to Asante Samuel Jr. in that one game? How many interceptions was that, Walter?
Was it 3?
Was it 3?
Was it 3?
I think it was 3.
I thought it was 4.
Well, the fact is, he made the plays when it needed to be played.
All right, Walt. Okay.
Listen, we watched Andrew Luck. We watched Andrew Luck in the playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, it was the same thing.
Throw the Colts into the biggest ditch ever, and then throw them out. So, hey, listen. At the end of the day, as long as you win, nobody cares.
You're right.
Somebody said, "What's up from Massachusetts, man?"
Yeah.
They said your thoughts on the Commanders' new ownership. What do y'all think about that?
I
don't know the people.
I got some family out in Massachusetts. I hope it's them. If it is, hey, I'll love Massachusetts.
I don't know the people, but I mentioned earlier, I think that sometimes removing that cloud from over the organization, and more than anything else, as a player, not having to answer that shit anymore.
Yep.
After games, every Monday morning, answering questions about Daniel Snyder, and do you know anything about emails, and did this happen, and were you around any cheerleaders, and like it's crazy, man. I think they're gonna play a lot better now that he's gone.
Yeah, I think especially Magic Johnson's now an owner. I don't know, man. I think they're gonna bring a lot. It's gonna change the dynamic all over again. I think Dan Snyder, I think we heard that he would make his picks without the scouts.
Yeah,
I'm like, how can you discard the scouts? That's the whole reason they do it. It's their Super Bowl of Super Bowls. How can you discard that? They grind. These guys grind every day. They're on the road.
the
I mean,
owner
they're
doing
way.
this though, not the GM. The owner is
No, I
doing
know,
this.
and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying
what I'm saying. It's crazy.
it's just crazy to me. So I think the ownership coming in and getting hopefully getting the information from the football guys and making the right decision. Hopefully it'll. I look. I hope everybody does well, but they're the Commanders. You know, they're the NFC.
Oh yeah,
but
I
I'm
get
just
it.
saying, like I think it's going to be better overall for the NFL.
Okay, NFC says the Eagles lost 8 starters. No one worried about them. I could give him a good, bad, and ugly too. I guess he's talking about when we're talking about Trevor. And I started what I said about the NFC. Law, I wouldn't be excited about basketball players buying a football team. I could tell you about the Lions too. Let me see.
Ooh.
So the post game wants to know what software is this that we use for recording. It is called StreamYard. And then somebody says, "What does Washington change name their name to now? And do you think the Dolphins would do good this year? I can see Lions Bengals Super Bowl, like the wall behind you in the middle. Damn. Well, Lions and Bengals in the Super Bowl.
We got a shot, man.
I
We
mean,
got as big a shot as anybody else.
that's technically a lion and a tiger, right?
Hmm.
Ooh. Ooh.
Or you could see a lion and a raven. Who knows?
A lion. Is that wait, hold on. Is that official?
Or a lion and a chief. Who knows?
Okay,
Man?
okay, it's not
Who
official.
knows, man? No, it's not.
Oh,
It's not official.
hey, you guys
I
want to know?
Hey, I had to get it. I had to get it.
One.
Well,
Walt's gonna drop it, man. He's gonna say he's gonna go to the Super Bowl, and you guys better pay attention.
that'd be pretty cool. A cat bowl.
Where
Rev,
is the Super Bowl this year anyway?
Rev says the Washington Commanders should change their name to the Hogs. I think that that would be 3 name changes in 3 years, Rev. I think that would be ridiculous. I think they should just roll with what they have. NFC is going to be wild this year. And look at this. Richard Allen held to the Commanders. I don't know how to say the HTTR. I don't know what the slogan is. I just know it's a Commander thing, man.
Allen.
That's
Hey,
your-
hold on.
That's your-
Allen, I'm waiting for your brother to come on, man. He needs to come on East West football. Let's go.
Yes, and that will happen. That is Jonathan Allen's brother. Just so you guys know that. If they do change their name again, they're gonna do 3 times more changes than playoff wins in the last date.
Oh, wow.
I love it. He goes, "We need to go back to the Redskins." Damn, you know what? I think if that happens, now we can go back to being rivals because that was a rivalry.
I wouldn't mind going back to the Redskins, man. That's all. It's, I don't know. Nostalgia.
It is a very nostalgic thing. Lions will get their division. Beyond that, future not too bright. Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
Why?
We'll see.
Wait, hold on a second.
Hold on.
Give us some context, man. Don't
We'll
just.
see.
I need
I
some
think
context.
that's coming from a Cowboys fan, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. Oh, what did
Oh,
Alan
thank
say?
you, Richard. Appreciate that. So you're gonna talk to him tonight. All right. It's 4?
It's in Vegas.
441.
No. The name changes, I believe.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying it's the Vegas Super Bowl's in Vegas this year.
Oh, okay. Well, gentlemen, I mean, we are excited. Football's finally back. I know, like I said, TikTok, thank you all for being so generous. And of course,
Appreciate it.
hey, follow us on East West Football. Subscribe to the YouTube channel,
Yep.
or to our YouTube channel. Help us reach 1,000. Of course, if you love the Dallas Cowboys, the Cowboy Cast, help us get to 1,000 there. We're almost there. Help Walt get his channel right. All he talks about Detroit Lions. Help him get to 1,000. Of course, Kendall, right? Help Kendall get his Patriots channel up to 1,000. But if you guys want to just come talk football, I mean, we are literally going to be the NFL network for the people, man. And everybody's voice is going to be heard. Everybody, if you notice, I try to keep up with all the comments. It's kind of hard. TikTok goes a little crazy. But if you guys can help us get there, I mean, definitely we won't forget who helped us get there. And that will be it. What he says, NFZ, new here, all love, even to the Lions fans. Right?
Go.
Round of applause, man.
Man, we know it's all love, man.
You
Jay,
know,
let them know about
say
next
this.
weekend, man.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
believe we're gonna do a collab, guys. So those that are watching on TikTok, we're gonna do a collab with Walt. We're gonna talk Cowboys and Lions because we're it's gonna happen this season. What week is it? Week
Is it 17 or 16?
I think it's the last game of the season.
Second to the last game.
Nah,
Second
it's
to
we
last.
played Minnesota last
Yeah,
game
yeah.
of the season.
I think we played Washington.
Yeah,
Washington,
Washington, Detroit, and then Washington.
Detroit and Washington. It's a tough
Yeah.
season for the Cowboys, but we're gonna do a little collab. So guys, stay tuned. Please subscribe. That's it for us. TikTok, you guys be nice, man.
Be nice, TikTok.
And YouTube. We're gonna go ahead and sign off. Thank you all for tuning in. And like I said, subscribe and turn